Here's Wheelman's executive producer, Sean Hemmerich. Gonna punch the pedal for us. Sean, thanks for stopping by. The girls are waiting outside with posters. They're huge fans. When you got out of the limo, they were just chanting the name. And
yeah, it's weird. Just hanging out with Vin gives you that kind of notoriety.
yeah, I bet it does. Your MySpace is blowing up, right?
Yeah, I need to learn how to do D&D now, but
you do. Just roll, say Magic Missile a lot, and really enjoy Mountain Dew.
Awesome.
There's nothing to it. Let's talk about the Wheelman here, because this property. I mean, first of all, what are we driving? Why are we driving so fast? Can't we just obey the speed limits, click it or ticket kind of stuff?
Yeah, the whole thing is we really want to give that like Hollywood feel to it. So you know, all the driving games have the over-the-top speed, but we put a lot of like cinematic aspects to everything. So as you're watching the game, you can see like different camera angles, a lot of different cutaways, but things that the player's in control of.
Right.
Wanting to give them the chance to have those moves. So when you pull off like a move like the Cyclone with Vehicle Melee, it's the player doing that move. They're the one pulling it off, causing that to happen.
I want to get to those moves in a second, but first I want to talk about the inspiration for this game, because you said you wanted that Hollywood feel. So you watching Ronin?
Yeah, all the Ronin, all the Bourne identities.
Bourne Identity.
Yeah, you know, see him flying around the world in like a taxi cab and mini cars. You know, we totally have that. You know, it's more about you having the driving skill, not having that like, well, if I don't get the Ferrari, I can't possibly beat this game.
Right, exactly. Well, and how does the plot of the game relate to the movie that's coming out?
Well, all I know at this point, because we're so heads down in the game, is they're not copies. They're sequential. The one thing where the game tells one part of the story and the movie tells another part of it. You have to talk to the Tygon guys and some of the movie people.
Sure.
I know they're in the script.
But it's nice that you're not beholden to something else that's going on. You don't have to try to mirror another property. You guys can focus on making the game as fun as you want.
Yeah, with the game's story and script and stuff, we spent about 3 months with Vin's guys. It's actually a little more like probably 6 once we got down to it, getting them together, linked up and synced, and like, okay, this is going to be the canon for the game, and this is how we're going to get it to go forward.
And how is it working with Vin exactly? Because I hear like the guy is the real deal. He's super into the games. He cares about the properties, and he can have discussions on a creative level as well as on a player level.
You can. The kind of two things we've had with Vin is, one, he is a gamer, so he knows what he's doing. Like one of the first times our creative director met with him, they sat and played some fighting games for like a couple hours, talking about different things. And that actually gave us a lot of ideas on how to get back into the game and things we want to carry into the game. He's like, you know, it'd be really cool if we could have this be a more attack-oriented, more like a punch, things like that.
And his traps are so huge that no one can say no to him. So he ultimately, no one's ever going to bother.
Yeah, agreed.
When it comes to the driving experience of this game, you mentioned moves, which I think is interesting because most people say, okay, I go fast, the game looks pretty, maybe there's some sparks, and that's it. But you actually have a set of tools that you can use to dispatch other cars.
Yeah, totally. You know, we have all those things you'd expect from a high-speed driving game.
Like this is the Cyclone right here, right?
Exactly. So what JJ's pulling off right now is a Cyclone move. Basically, just like you saw in like Dart with a Vengeance, pull the handbrake, spin around. You have a few seconds, like in a first-person shooter. If you hit the engine, either engine, or you can take out the driver specifically, or if it's a car you can't kill, like a boss car, you just need to slow them down. You can shoot out the tires, gas tank from behind.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Hard to pull off in the Prius too. I tried. It's really, really hard. And there's also sort of like a muscle maneuver where you shift your weight and kind of.
Yeah, totally. Well, JJ will probably do it here, but you can just, as anyone who gets near you can kind of just battle them and just slam them side to side, just flicking the right stick side to side.
Oh!
So send them
that
flying.
Looked violent. And a pedestrian who was just waiting for the bus. Yeah, the guy was just standing there.
That happens.
Well, tell me about the city, because obviously it's alive. There's things going on in there.
Totally. It's a recreated Barcelona. We took everything you wanted from having a Spanish city, thrown it around. And then we, of course, took some artistic liberties, the fact that it's a video game.
Right.
But like, of course, roadblocks. So the players got control of this the whole time.
Right.
That isn't a scripted moment, other than the fact that it happens, but wherever the player's at, and they can take the route anywhere they want. This open world that happens different each time.
Oh, that's incredible. And there's also, I mean, there's on-foot aspects. There's a huge shooting element. I want to touch on that, but we're running out of time. I have to ask.